You're listening to the Curator's Salon podcast. I'm Geeta Joshi. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about selling your art through galleries. So I know gallery representation is a really big and common goal for a lot of artists. And if this is on your goals for the coming year, or maybe you already have gallery representation and you're looking to work with more galleries, sell through more galleries, maybe in different locations, then this episode is for you. So the first thing I encourage artists to look at is the gallery models. So we really want to understand that the gallery model is not a monolith. There are many variables, many variations of it. Some galleries, and one that you might typically think of when you want to think about having a gallery representation, is essentially the white walled space. We sometimes call it a white cube space. And you start imagining your work on their walls. But we want to look beyond this to the different gallery models that actually exist out there, because there might be another type of model that galleries operate under that could be a better fit for you. So obviously there are the galleries that have full-time premises. They are often white cube spaces, and sometimes they might not be. They might be more ambient spaces, with brick walls and architectural features and so on. But you really want to make sure that you understand the difference between commercial galleries and non-profit spaces or artist-run spaces and things like that. So of course we're looking at commercial galleries for representation, and these are the ones that make their income and their revenue through the commission of sales of the artwork that they sell. And also, to be really clear, these are not the ones that perhaps might reach out to you. I know a lot of artists have this, where they receive emails, they feel very flattered that the gallery is interested, they get into correspondence, and then they learn there's like a high fee for them to participate in a group show. And essentially these ones are renting you a bit of wall space. So that might start in the hundreds, and sometimes it can even go up into the thousands of pounds, dollars, euros. So these are not the sort of galleries I'm talking about when I talk about gallery representation, because these ones are not as motivated to sell your art and have that longer term relationship. So gallery representation is essentially getting into a business relationship with a gallery that is going to make their revenue from selling your artwork. Now, with that goal in mind, obviously that gallery needs to be very interested in your work and be very motivated to sell it. And they also need to be very enthusiastic about your art, really, because it is hard to sell something that you are not enthusiastic about. So this is, something that you would be looking for as you enter discussions with galleries about representation. So gallery models, obviously we've got the ones that have the full-time premises. There are some that only sell at art fairs. So they'll do, various art fairs through the year and take a booth. And instead of paying full-time rent on physical premises in one location, this model really allows them to sell in different locations at art fairs, where people that come actively to look to learn about art and buy art as well. So there are certainly galleries that only show up at art fairs, and the rest of the time they may have an online presence, and some of them don't even have a very strong online presence. They really just make their income at these events through the year. So there are the galleries that only show up at fairs, so you might want to have a look at those. And for those events, you can really look on a gallery's website. At the minimum, they usually will list which fairs they have shown at recently and then which ones they have got coming up. Now, there's certainly the hybrid of the two there as well. That is something that many galleries do, where they have physical premises and then they also show up at art fairs to trade there as well. And that, again, invites that opportunity for them to show up in different locations, or meet people from further afield that might not actually make it to their premises, and get that extra visibility for themselves as a gallery brand, but also for the artists that they represent. The next model is often known as nomadic, and this is where a gallery will have exhibitions by taking up short leases, essentially, on premises. So they'll have short-term rental. And this can be from anything from a week, to a month, or even a bit longer. And they don't have like a single fixed address that where you would be able to visit them, they will show up in different places and taking on these short-term leases and showing art by their artists that they have on their roster. So this might also be referred to as pop-up galleries. They pop up in different locations, and sometimes they're referred to as nomadic. So this is another kind of gallery model that it's helpful for you to understand. And then again, they may have an online presence in between that you can actually go and see the artwork online, through their website or their listings through Artsy or something like that as well. Then there are the galleries that are online only. Sometimes these are small, these are very niche, and then you have the much larger online marketplaces that you might be more familiar with, like Soto Marketplace or Saatchi. So these are dominantly online, and that's essentially all they do. But then now and again they might have an exhibition or something like that, but their main operation is all about being online. And these, like I said, they vary from what I'm calling marketplaces, where they have a wide range of artists, and then there are smaller niche ones which are just run more by individuals that are curating a more cohesive collection and roster of artists for the audience that they're building up. So if having physical presence and exhibitions and things like that is important to how you want to move forward with representation, then these might be the ones that, well, they give you an online presence, but they, at the same time, they're not going to give you necessarily these exhibitions as well. So you can have a think about like what way you would like that representation to appear for you, but they do often have very large audiences, because that job behind having that online gallery is about digital marketing. And in addition to this, they're often working with interiors people and stylists and architects, and working with them to place artwork from their roster into those architectural and design projects as well. So a lot of galleries also do this, but this is something that I know both Saatchi and Soto work actively on. And then another gallery model is one that is very low key, and sometimes, while it is a gallery and it does work on a representation basis, they might also appear as independent curators or consultants or advisors. And again, these galleries have artists on their roster that they are putting forward to a database of collectors and people that are interested in buying art that they are nurturing, educating, and helping build out collections. And these don't always have a strong or massive online presence. It's very, how can you put this, kind of low key, because they're just working directly with their audience, often through their emails, through actual conversations, through visiting artwork, wherever the consultant is working from, whether they're sort of renting offices or they are having a studio of their own. So this kind of model is much more low key, and it's one that you don't see a lot because it doesn't have a large online presence. But these people sometimes also will have occasional exhibitions, and those exhibitions can turn up in commercial gallery spaces. They can turn up in other business premises, and that is where they're kind of collaborating with other spaces that can host an exhibition without it being even sometimes open widely to the public. It might like literally be within a corporate space or something like that, for example. And really it is a lot more about invitation, and you have to register to go and see the exhibition and things like that. But they operate a much more low-key model because they are much more intimate in their conversations and discussions with their buyers and patrons and things like that. So have a think about what kind of gallery you would like representation with. I know everybody would ideally like sort of high profile, one where you get to hang your work on in a white cube space. I think this has been the most sort of common goal when I've polled artists across my social media and inside my membership and things. But just to really explain that there are different ones. So even when you are searching let's say you go to an art fair website and you see there's a number of galleries there, the best thing to do is actually go and visit those fairs and kind of get an understanding of the gallery booths, right? What is their aesthetic? What is the connection point? What are the amongst the artists that they're showing? And even if it's a solo presentation, you might be able to get into conversation with the dealers and really kind of understand what it is that drives them, what it is that they like about the artwork that they're selling at this particular time, and see if that is something that you would also be able to fit into when you might approach them or pitch them later on. And if you are looking at other physical galleries, then again, trying to visit as many as you actually can to get a sense of the space, get a sense of the people that are running it is going to be really beneficial in your approach, actually at the point when you come to pitch them. So, just scraping gallery names from an art fair list isn't going to be as helpful. It just kind of creates that starting point where you can now go and delve into each of the galleries, websites, and it might sort of reveal some that you didn't know that were visiting distance for you, so that you can put this on your list of things to do. Because approaching galleries for representation is more than just sending that email. It's really creating more of a connection and relationship, remembering all the time that this is a people business. You can have fabulous artwork, but fundamentally it's a people business, and it's like, are you a good fit for you and the gallery and the people that run that gallery to actually work together? Is there rapport there? Is there an understanding? Is there a common goal? And so as part of your research, actually going to visit these places or chatting to the dealers on the booth and things like that can really help you. You can go to their exhibition openings and get a sense of it. And in this scenario, you would really only be going to support them, right? This is not the time to pitch. So I just really want to convey that there's a research time here before you go and pitch, because I've had this when I had the gallery, and I see it all the time, but artists kind of go to somebody's opening or private view, and then they're literally pitching themselves, and you're almost potentially blackballing yourself with this, right? This is not where their attention is. So, and the same thing at art fair booths, right? When you're going there and meeting dealers, you really want to be going there with a view to researching and understanding and educating yourself, rather than actually using these as opportunities to pitch. So if gallery representation is something that you are looking to achieve in the coming months, in the coming year, then really understanding that it's not just a case of banging out a bunch of emails in January. You might actually want to put in some time to actually do that research, go out to places, have conversations with people and learn more about the galleries before you actually get into the stage where you're actually approaching them, inviting them to your exhibitions and things like that. So have a look around the galleries that you've been interested in, try to understand their models, and in the next episode I'll be talking about how you can prepare your online presence for a good reception. And if you want support with this and you want to go deeper into it, then I have a program called Gallery Ready, and I will add notes in the show notes. I will add the link in the show notes for you for that. And there's all sorts of training in there, the research, you want to look at your own motivation, actual templates for proposals, then gallery contracts, follow-up emails, all of that is inside the program. And we have monthly group calls where you can come and ask me any of your questions, so you can actually move forward with anything that you're stuck on inside the training. I'll add a link to Gallery Ready in the show notes, and you can hit me up in the DMs on Instagram at @theGeetaJoshi if you've got any questions.